Hey, nice to see everyone here today. My name is Scott Haley. I'm part of Premier Orthodontic Practices, or POP. I've got one a longtime friend and a POP member with us, and that's Dr. Mark Coreil of Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm excited to talk about a new vendor partner of ours here at POP, and that's OrthoPulse. And Dr. Mark is also a user of OrthoPulse and a subject expert and does a lot of research for a lot of companies. So I'm excited to talk to Mark today about accelerated orthodontics and how OrthoPulse fits into that. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Scott. Thank you for allowing us to join and share a great message, right?
Yeah, very, very cool. So, Mark, like, let's just, I think it's kind of interesting. Guys like you and I have been around for a long time and have seen different things in the market in
Right.
terms of accelerated
Right.
orthodontics. My guess is at this point in your career, you've tried them all, right?
Correct.
And so could you just kind of give a baseline of accelerated orthodontics and how OrthoPulse fits into that?
Yeah, it's a great story, right? I was introduced to the OrthoPulse technology over 15 years ago when I saw it. And what's interesting about OrthoPulse, it's got very, very compelling evidence in a number of referee journals. So that was one thing that kept me in tune to it. I was also fortunate enough to be on the clinical trials for OrthoPulse, which gave me an inside look at how the product worked and how effective it was. So that was really, really cool. During that period, and even prior to that, I had tried everything else to accelerate tooth movement, right? Whether that was the invasive port of, digging into the bone, or if that was vibration, but none of those techniques, particularly the most invasive, was very attractive to a patient, right? You tell them that what you're going to do, and they're like, "Oh, are you seriously? Do I really need that? Is that necessary?" And we had, it's like patient acceptance was so poor. Very similar to that, with the vibration devices, we just didn't have, it just wasn't catchy at all. Today, things have changed. So OrthoPulse during this long period, from the trials to now, has continued to build the evidence, which is great. And by the way, this type of therapy is also used on the medical side, and I introduce it that way. So this
Hmm.
this wavelength therapy is used to heal bones. It's used on the medical side for wound healing, and it's used for us to make everything happen in a much more comfortable fashion. But the key word today is near red light therapy. When you say red light therapy, everyone is in tune to it because it's so popular today. So
Good.
that's been the focal point. It works, it's comfortable, and it's convenient. And I can get into more details about that. But does that give you an insight of where we
Yeah.
started?
Yeah. So, can you kind of, you use this on a lot of patients and you've seen a lot of cases. So can you maybe share like what you're seeing clinically that, because
Yeah.
that makes you prescribe this essentially or recommend this?
Right. So I think that, to be honest with you, I'll tell you about the clinical outcome. That's clear. But I'll tell you what the big motivator is finishing on time or finishing early.
Okay.
Because every time I run a report of and I'm sure the doctors in the group have had similar experiences. When we run the report of patients over treatment time, it is not a comfortable thing to read. And you're looking at
Yeah.
these patients saying, why are these patients over treatment time? You say, what could I have done to pull them into the expected treatment time? And obviously, it would reduce their frustration as well. So that's the motivation. In addition to that, we have found, polling our patients, it matches the evidence of OrthoPulse, where there's at least a 75% reduction in discomfort.
Oh,
And yeah, you have patients say, like when I introduce the concept of aligners, right? It's like I can treat your case with aligners, and then the first thing comes out of their mouth is, "I heard they hurt." And I tell the patient, well, not really, because there's a lot of variables there. But with this new technology we're using, I can assure you that when you use it in as prescribed, you will not be uncomfortable.
All right.
And so it reduces that by 75%. And even this week, I was asking adult patients who are wearing aligners, I said, how is this helping? And because I've had some of these patients where they weren't compliant and they became compliant, they're like, is it 50% better? And they said, oh no, more than that. And then we get to this 75 number. So, but that's the comfort side. But when we
Mhm.
get to the tooth movement side, probably the most obvious one is that we're trying to distalize teeth with aligners, going tooth by tooth, up to 3 teeth at a time using, our special products here. But when we're able to do that controlled with the teeth not tipping and the gaps just starting to open, it's quite impressive. So we're able to do heroics. In fact, I just did a video for the office, and we're talking about class threes, right? And I said, if you have
Mhm.
a bite like this, I'm showing it on Tyvidine. I said, this was always surgery in the past. That's no longer the case. We can correct these class threes right now with aligners and OrthoPulse.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So when you look at OrthoPulse and accelerated orthodontics historically,
Yeah,
and I'm just going to share what I think the buzz was in the industry is uh, it's expensive, and that's why people wouldn't use it on every patient. Is that still the case today? I mean, how does this fit in for your patient base? How do you look at it for your population of patients?
I can tell you that that has been the biggest game changer of all, is that OrthoPulse recognized the need to be able to bring the price down and to be able to put it into every treatment plan, every comprehensive treatment plan. So I was actually speaking to the OrthoPulse team, and they asked me what I was retailing OrthoPulse at, and I told them the number because it was an add-on, right?
Okay.
We saw a complicated case. We told the patient, you would benefit from this technology we have, but then they say, well, how much? And I would give them the price. They'd be like, no, thank you, because it was an
Hold,
additional. Go
hold
ahead.
that thought there, Mark. So you're saying traditionally before this in a practice, it was you saw it as a benefit, kind of like, and then you would the patients would generally pay an additional fee for the orthopulse.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Okay,
Yeah, and whether, it wasn't even an upfront fee, Scott. It was an additional fee that was built into the finance plan. But the
okay,
fact that I was charging them somewhere between, we were at $500, $1,700, it was preventing them from integrating it into their treatment because of the fact that they just said, I just don't want to spend that kind of extra money, right?
right.
So with the introduction of OrthoPulse Lite, which is the
Yeah.
product we're using today, right? OrthoPulse brought it into a price point, particularly through the pop group, right? Thanks for doing that for us, and thanks to OrthoPulse for making that happen. Right now, it's there's no additional charge. It's built into our fee structure. So with a nominal fee change, we built it into the fee structure. And the fact is, Scott, we did the calculations. If we can save one appointment, we've already more than paid for it.
Yeah.
And so when we look at that over treatment time list or anything else for that matter, even the other technology that we use like remote monitoring, saving one appointment, saving two appointments, saving three appointments, it's a financial thing, right? And we're more profitable, patients more comfortable, and we're doing things that we couldn't do before. It's a no-brainer, in
Right.
my opinion. And from a comfort standpoint for the patient, when you tell them that, all they have to do is put it in their mouth and walk around the house and stay on their phone, whatever. They don't have to sit anywhere. They can just go on with their life, right? And in some cases, we only have to use it in one arch where the more complicated tooth movement is.
Yeah. That's really interesting. The cost and the savings per appointment, it really makes a difference. You know, it's so funny. I was listening to a ortho podcast recently, and they were talking about, practices being able to differentiate themselves from their competition in a market.
Right.
I would think this might be something that kind of falls into that, right? It's like I go there and they also provide great cases, but this, and this too as an accelerator.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, Scott, and totally on point. I was just talking to Virginie, who's our marketing expert at OrthoPulse. And just now, I said, Jenny, I'm gonna connect you with my marketing team, especially my social media team. And I said, we're gonna make this happen, right? We're going to differentiate further and to let people know that we are on the edge and we're doing the things that are possible. And you know what's happening on the medical device side, the same thing, right? Lots of differentiation going on. But OrthoPulse supports you 100% with that. So and that's all inclusive and just working with them.
Yeah.
It's a great team.
Um, So yeah, we're excited at Pop to have OrthoPulse as a partner. I'm excited that you're a KEKOL for the Pop group for OrthoPulse. So our doctors that are in the group are welcome to reach out to you if they want, some testimonials or share your experiences. Um, so, when you look at there's a lot of doctors that are interested in this technology but haven't necessarily adapted it into their practice, and or they might be doing vibration or poking holes like you said, Mark. How would you get started? I mean, how would you recommend someone that's interested in this get started?
I'd be happy to speak to them, myself one-on-one. That's a great way to start. Or we have the sales team that can just contact OrthoPulse directly. That would be fine. And either way, I'm open. You've been know me, Scott. I love working with docs. I love working with offices. We're more than happy to help them with integration and with patient onboarding, that sort of thing. And what I wanted to add is that I failed to say that there's a dashboard with OrthoPulse, so you can monitor patient compliance and so on and so on. So we love this aspect of it because of the fact that if the patient's not tracking like they should, say, hey, are you really using your device? We're not seeing it, right? But
Right.
and so we have a portal. But yeah, so reach out to me or the OrthoPulse team, and as a group, we'll work together to make this win for you and your practice. Yeah.
Would you recommend because we hear this a lot, the word dabbling, the word like is your take on this like do
Do
X
it.
do it and start on all do aligner cases or complicate like
Yeah.
don't just sit there and do one a month. Like you're not gonna you really got to do,
Totally correct, right? So, I mean, when you look at that's one of the things that's important. They can look at their pop sheet. I think that we need to look at this. So we always talk about profit, right? We have to make a profit or we don't exist. So if you look at the pop sheet, you look at your number of starts per month, we're focused on comprehensive cases, both fixed and aligners. And then you get it in there and get going, right? And get the feedback, look at your dashboard, watch what's happening, and then just dive in because if you the price point's very attractive, especially for larger practices. Don't
yeah,
dabble. Go for it.
got it. All right, thanks, Mark. It was great to connect with you, and I want to thank the team at OrthoPulse for putting together our agreement and being a vendor partner of POP. So thanks and have a great day.
Thank you, Scott.